Every once in a while, a game will come out of nowhere and totally surprise me, where the gameplay hooks me, the music hits just right, and I get wholly and unexpectedly absorbed in a brand new world. This is what happened with Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights. Its beautiful artwork, fantastic soundtrack, and punishing combat coalesced into a captivating experience that completely caught me off guard. When I played Ender Lilies, I knew next to nothing about the game. It had the benefit of surprise. Ender Magnolia has no such advantage. With the success of the original comes the weight of expectations, and the bar has been set quite high. Even with the community's positive sentiment throughout its early access period, I still had fears that Ender Magnolia couldn't possibly live up to what I wanted from a sequel. Thankfully, those worries were unfounded, misguided even, as Ender Magnolia is a complete and polished package that improves on its predecessor in almost every way. Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist is a 2D action RPG with a Metroidvania structure from Japanese publisher Binary Haze Interactive. You play as Lilac, and a tuner with the ability to cure homunculi who have become corrupted by a blight that is infesting the Land of Fumes. While not a direct sequel to Ender Lilies, it takes place in the same universe, tells a similar tale, and follows the same progression in which defeating bosses allows you to make use of their abilities in both combat and movement. It may not stray far from the original formula, but it sets out to be bigger and better in every facet, starting with its striking visuals. In my opinion, this is the best looking Metroidvania out there. There are a wide variety of environments: haunting ruins, snow-capped fields, lush forests, even an abandoned palace, each with gorgeous backgrounds that provide a real sense of place often difficult to pull off in 2D games. The world of Ender Magnolia is dark and grim, but there is a real beauty to it that prevents it from feeling oppressive. In games so focused on combat, I'm usually in a rush to get back into the action, but I often couldn't help but to stop and take in Ender Magnolia's masterful artwork. The soundtrack is top-notch as well. Ender Magnolia's score is once again composed and performed by Millie, an excellent indie band based out of Japan who you should absolutely give a listen to. While Ender Lily's soundtrack was a primarily piano-driven, often somber affair, these compositions are much richer, with crunchy tracks comprised of dramatic strings, ripping guitars, and Cassie Way's soothing vocals. It's more upbeat and dynamic, but still evokes a feeling I can only describe as pleasant melancholy that expertly matches the dystopian yet hopeful atmosphere of Ender Magnolia. There's more narrative this go around, something that I wouldn't necessarily consider a good thing in the Metroidvania genre, but it's serviceable. There are more characters to interact with, and a lot more dialogue, providing additional opportunities to learn about the homunculi and the plight of the Land of Fumes. I didn't find it particularly engaging, but I did appreciate that it was a heck of a lot more cogent than in Ender Lilies. The narrative is certainly not the strength of Ender Magnolia, but it doesn't have to be. It adds to the overall aesthetic without getting in the way of the fun, which is as much as I can ask for. The art, sounds, and vibes of Ender Magnolia are immaculate, but it is far more than just a pretty face. The Metroidvania formula is executed incredibly well, starting with the approachable but punishing combat. It's not as tight as some other Metroidvania greats such as Hollow Knight or Nine Souls, but it makes up for it with how customizable it is. Just like in Ender Lilies, as you progress through the game and tune new homunculi, you'll gain access to a variety of skills, of which you can have 4 equipped at any time. There's an impressive variety of abilities, allowing you to construct a build suited to your personal style or the needs of the present challenge. I appreciated the mix of melee and range skills that enabled me to constantly stay in the action. Plus, it just looks awesome when you press a button and your homunculus friend appears on screen to lay waste to an enemy. Especially this game's parry ability, which is just, chef's kiss. The best moments are produced by the absolute spectacles that are the boss fights. This is where the enemy design truly shines. One fight, I was up against a nimble, flying gun wielder dashing across the map, only to have them transform into a hulking beast that took up half of the screen. Another pitted me against a huge wolf that could produce electricity. And the final boss fight in the true ending route, which I certainly will not spoil here, is absolutely incredible and was a truly worthy way to cap off my 20 hours with Ender Magnolia. These fights are challenging though, and many will likely require several attempts. What I appreciate about this difficulty, paired with the RPG systems, is that it creates a sort of combat puzzle that I found really fun to solve. Which abilities are best suited for this fight? Which relics will aid me the most? I enjoyed working through these questions and constructing a build to counter the bosses that were repeatedly beating me to a pulp. My one complaint with Ender Magnolia's combat is its wildly inconsistent difficulty. Some areas are a breeze, while others felt far too punishing. There were a couple bosses in particular that did an insane amount of damage, far more than anything that came before it. Thankfully, Ender Magnolia has adjustable difficulty, enabling everyone to fine-tune their experience to their liking. I am generally one to play games on hard, and that's what I started with here. But I found that enemies were hitting me a little too hard, with some bosses killing me from well over half health despite my upgraded equipment. This was getting rather frustrating, so I opted to turn down enemy damage. But I still wanted a proper challenge, so I upped enemy health in return. This had the added benefit of extending boss fights, my favorite moments in Ender Magnolia. I know adjustable difficulty is becoming more and more common, but I'm really glad to see it utilized here. While Ender Magnolia's gameplay is largely similar to its predecessor, there have been several major improvements this iteration. First off, the early game picks up much quicker. Within the first few hours, not only had I received several combat options, I also had access to the double jump and dash skills necessary to make its otherwise stiff movement feel quite good. Also, Ender Magnolia's map is worlds better, actually showing the geometry of a room as opposed to a simple rectangle. It also has this amazing feature I wish all Metroidvanias had, where as soon as you've gotten all the items in a room, it turns blue on the map, which is so damn satisfying. It makes hunting down all of the secrets and completing the game a really fun experience. The map as a whole is much more organized as well. Not once did I get lost, something that happened in Ender Lilies far more times than I care to admit. Ender Magnolia is undoubtedly a more complete, incredibly polished package. It's a worthy sequel that improves upon the formula laid out by Ender Lilies in just about every way. But Ender Magnolia never surprised and astonished me the way that Ender Lilies did. As impressive of a game Ender Magnolia is, its peaks didn't match the highest highs of the original. The Twin Spires level of Ender Lilies is one of my favorite Metroidvania zones ever. Mad King Ulv is amongst the best 2D boss fights of all time, and nothing in Ender Magnolia managed to top that, which I found a little disappointing. It's not that I believe Ender Lilies is the better game, but I do think it will stick with me longer because its best moments were so much more memorable. That being said, Ender Magnolia is an incredible experience, certainly the best game I've played in 2025 so far. It looks, sounds, and feels amazing. It has some of the best combat systems ever created for a 2D action game. It provides a plethora of fantastic bosses to test your skills against. And it's clear developers at Globe and Livewire learned a lot developing Ender Lilies, as this is a bigger, better, more polished experience where just about every aspect has been improved over the original. This doesn't quite crack my Rushmore of Metroidvanias, but it's quite close, and I wholeheartedly recommend giving Ender Magnolia a try.